All right, folks, spring is here. The sun is shining down, and I say shine that spotlight on XRP, the XRP community, and on the truth that we have been exposing as we fight to save our country. Now, I titled this session XRP AMM Fixed because I want to give you guys an update on that towards the end of this show, but we're going to go through where we're at in these markets, the region, the energy, the levels that we're watching as we enter into a very interesting space here in the Bitcoin space, topping out at a new all-time high for Bitcoin before the halving. A pre-halving pump always very typical and common, but to go set a new all-time high, is this a good sign, a bad sign? Let's get right on into it, folks. And we are also going to be giving you an update here on a couple of the legal battlefield points as well. I'm going to try to move through quickly. Hope everybody's having a blessed Easter weekend. Let's get right on into it, folks. So starting out here, we are watching as Bitcoin back down to 70,000. This is a coin that went all the way up to new all-time highs, 73,700 for your Bitcoin, basically 73.8. Almost 74,000. Incredible. Now, we did get that correction that we warned everyone about, 17%, down to below 61,000. Now, in the last couple of weeks, Bitcoin has, once again, gone back up here. We're at 70,000 right now. And the potential that I see right now is to potentially set a double top here before we go into this April 8th eclipse. This is going to be very interesting, okay? Now, I know many people believe that the signs in the skies, right, in the stars, right, have various levels of meaning, right? Some people believe in it, some people don't. I just remember, like it was yesterday, this was so fascinating, folks. In May of 2022, we had the sacrifice of Luna when we were having a lunar eclipse. Take it for what it's worth, right? You know, they said the billionaires are the ones who follow astrology, right? So whatever, there must be something there, I guess. So take it for what it's worth. Put whatever value you want on it. I just remember these moments like it was yesterday. We were waiting for that lunar eclipse to come in May. Sure enough, Luna collapses. We didn't know it was going to be Luna. We had our questions about that project. And sure enough, Luna goes bust when we were having that lunar eclipse. Now, this time around, we're having a solar eclipse, and a huge shout out to Jeremy in our Discord group this morning for bringing up the fact that maybe we're going to be looking at a Solana sacrifice, a sacrifice of Sol for the solar eclipse. I don't know. Crazy idea, right? We'll see. Nonetheless, I'm watching and I'm looking at this chart right here. You see Solana went up to about $210, back at sub 200 right now. And basically the same looking chart as Bitcoin, as they both look like they have the potential to do a double top, right? Let's see a little bit more energy come in. And then these eclipses, for whatever reason, just bring a tremendous amount of energy into the markets and especially crypto. Remember, we were giving everybody the date for the November eclipse that occurred in 2022. And who got sacrificed on that one? Sam Bankman-Fried. And this last week, we saw that Sam Bankman got 25 years. More on that later. I have a separate video where we're going to be talking about Sam's little secret. That's going to be coming up here shortly. So make sure you guys subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our updates. Got another real estate update coming as well. Now, let's get into it. So Gold Telegraph reporting that Japan has now signaled that officials are on standby to intervene in the market to address the yen. Gold is at record highs in Japan. The Bank of Japan has distorted its capital markets, and the world will feel the effects. It is beginning in Japan, right? They raised rates, and that has been the best indicator of a recession coming in, has been Japan raising rates in the past. We've seen it time and time again. Japan, one of the last ones here to actually raise rates, and it's already having a massive impact, the ripple effect spreading outside of Japan. And I warned how this is a boomerang effect that we see, where the United States has raised rates, making the dollar the cleanest shirt in the closet, which inflicts pain on other countries that have debt denominated in US dollars, have a bunch of our bonds. And it's forcing them to sell off their bonds. So it's the boomerang effect where, yes, it's inflicting pain on countries like Japan, and Bank of Japan and these other central banks are taking historical losses, but it's also a boomerang effect back where the foreign buyers are not showing up at our treasury auctions anymore either. Now, continuing on that thread, gold has gone and continues into price discovery. When will silver catch up? I posted this one here. Love to see it. An absolute masterpiece being printed on the monthly chart for gold all the way back to 2020. And we were talking about this in the Discord weekly call this morning, the opportunity that presented itself back in March of 2020, where gold went back down to $14.50 per ounce. Triple taps above 2,000, and now we go into price discovery above 2,200 for gold. When will silver play catch up? Well, one data point that we're watching is the commercial banks are short 500 million ounces of silver. This week, they shorted another 15 million ounces. This is the silver squeeze, people. Better get physical ASAP. And you guys already know at my website, ZachRector.com, we have precious metals affiliates. If you need to get the hookup, get it delivered to your house, to your doorsteps, or we can roll over a 401k retirement account. We can help you out for precious metals. And the problem that we're about to see here is if you don't hold it, you don't own it, like our good friend Lynette Zhang says. And so this is the problem. We're seeing many folks lose frustration. Oh, when are we going to get price action for XRP? When are we going to get price action for silver? When are we going to get price action for gold? Oh, wait. We are finally seeing it. Gold breaking out to all-time highs in US dollar terms. This is history being set. This is history in the making, officially in price discovery and continuing into price discovery with massive momentum. That monthly chart looks as sexy as can be. And when we look at other currencies, the Canadian fiat funny money dollar, it takes you 3,000 of those suckers to get you 1 troy ounce of gold. 3,000 is what gold's trading at in Canada. God bless our friends up north. Now in China, we're seeing that premium get stretched once again. And this has been a common occurrence over there in China, where the premium for physical metal over there in China is trading at about $100 US dollars more over in China than it is back here. And so we're about to find out reality is not what the COMEX paper vaults and the paper money markets are telling us. And so when the time does happen, if you don't have it, if you don't have physical control, or if you don't have somebody trusted that's keeping it in a vault for you, you're not going to have it secured. There's already been a deficit for the past 3 years of over hundreds of millions of ounces of silver. It is being shorted in the paper markets. This comes to an end soon. It's already started for gold. And once we see gold, I think, go and continue and start to sustain this new all-time high, it's only a matter of time before silver plays catch up. $30 is where we need to break. If we get a clean break above 30, $35 is the next big stop where there's resistance. Between 35 and 50, that all-time high that we hit back in, was it 2011? There's not much there. It's very thin. And so, you know, when does silver play catch up? It will eventually. And when it does, I think that it's going to move violently, similar to XRP. Now, a couple data points on the legal battlefield that we need to update on. Eleanor Terrett showing how the judge, Skavdal, in the Custodia versus Federal Reserve case has created and put forward 2 completely separate opinions. This is from the same judge, same case, but you can see the discrepancies in the hypocrisy. So the question remains, who got to Skavdal? What changed his mind? Eleanor Terrett asked it right down here at the bottom. What changed? What happened? Did somebody talk to Skavdal? The first is from his opinion denying the Fed's motion to dismiss, right? The Fed wanted to dismiss this case. The judge denied that, right? The second is from Friday's decision on summary judgment, where he sided with the Fed against Custodia. So in the motion to dismiss, the first opinion says that the rules that Congress laid out for the Fed cannot be interpreted as them giving complete and total authority to approve or deny master account applications. The second opinion says that the rules laid out by Congress confirm the Fed has the ultimate power to decide. One perspective suggests limitations on the Fed's discretion, and the other implies no limitations. Skavdal seemingly backtracked on his own opinion 9 months later. Well, okay. Now we're going to see as Custodia Bank is going to explore all options, including appeal. And that might be one that needs to be appealed, and that might be one that needs to go to the Supreme Court. There's some stuff that's making its way to the Supreme Court that is pretty impactful on a fundamental legal basis here in this country. And I am here for it. Thankfully, we're seeing some good judges in the United States step up, but then we also have contradicting opinions like we just expressed and showed you guys in the most recent one. Now, I also wanted to update you guys on the Empower oversight case. It's being shared around, going viral, that the SEC has settled up with Empower oversight over the request for these documents, over the potential conflicts, right? Well, they responded here yesterday, and they say this article seems to have caused some confusion regarding the Empower Oversight FOIA Freedom of Information Act requests and litigation against the SEC. So we wanted to clarify what has transpired, what we've received, and what requests are still pending with the SEC. The recent settlement was for a suit of Empower Oversight filed against the SEC in May of 2023 to enforce earlier requests for communications between senior SEC officials and their former and future employers and related entities regarding cryptocurrencies. A court forced the SEC to turn over the documents we released here in August 2023. So the court already forced them to turn over the documents, which led to, following the production of these documents, Empower began settlement talks with the SEC, but which didn't conclude until we recently reached an agreement over attorneys' fees. Got to make sure those lawyers get paid, right? But Empower still has 2 open requests with the SEC that were not part of this suit. So they are continuing the fight, guys. The first is related to new issues we learned from the prior SEC productions. We also request new means to search for records of interest to the public, such as searching for keywords of interest instead of communications between specific individuals. Let's get it. I love it. Keyword search. Love it. The second request, which we recently filed suit to enforce, mostly focuses on records created later than those in the first request. Specifically, it seeks records about 1, the SEC versus Ripple litigation, 2, our referral to the OIG, the Office of Inspector General, and 3, our first FOIA lawsuit discussing the litigation itself. In short, there are many documents the public deserves to see about the issues we've identified and how the SEC responded to our questions, but the first request and the lawsuit to enforce it had run their course, thus the news. Hope this helps clarify where things stand. So basically, they got the documents, and so they just needed to come to terms on settling up over the lawyers. They got what they wanted, and so they're basically dropping the suit, they're settling it up. But the fight is not over, right? They have 2 additional requests that they're still pushing forward, and one of those is an additional lawsuit. So Empower is still getting it done, folks, and this is what I'm talking about. We continue to show up and apply pressure here. We are winning on this legal battlefield, right? We took an L, Federal Reserve versus Custodia. We took a loss on that one. Someone maybe talked to the judge and got in his ear. We'll see, and the potential for that to get appealed, very strong. The potential for the SEC Ripple lawsuit to get appealed, very strong. The good news is that the light is at the end of the tunnel now, right? Ripple responds April 22nd, SEC final response May 6th. They have a little bit time after that for redactions, and then we wait for Judge Torres' ruling in the next couple months. And so we could potentially see the conclusion of the case in the first half of this year. You combine the legal clarity, the legal victory, and the full clarity that we'll have as far as how can Ripple distribute XRP, and you add that to the fundamental thesis, you add that to the utilities coming to the XRP ledger, the coast is clear for XRP. For the rest of the space, for Solana, the one that was specifically mentioned in the Coinbase lawsuit, the judge said Solana is an example of an underlying asset which may be a security investment contract in and of itself. Specifically choosing Solana coming up on this solar eclipse, is that the chosen sacrifice to come next? You guys let me know in the comments down below. Is that crazy talk? Is that too much woo-woo? You guys let me know in the chat below. I'm here for it. I got my popcorn ready, and I got my dry powder liquid ready on the sideline to go on the attack when we get that price action to the downside, if that does come through. In my opinion, we are seeing one of the next catalysts that adds to the bullish fundamental thesis for XRP, which is the AMM. So right now, guys, the fix has been voted on. It's actually over 90%. I think it's like 96% consensus. It's got like over 30 votes. And so in 11 days now, the timer has been set. In 11 days, this AMM is going to be going live. I plan on going in right away. I discussed this morning with my Discord group some of the arbitrage opportunities that I'm going to be looking at right away. I'm going to be going back into this AMM. And I understand my risk. I understand impermanent loss. I understand, you're playing around with some of these issuers, which I have questions about. But nonetheless, the opportunity here is exciting, one that I plan on taking advantage of. I'm not here to give anybody financial advice. But the good news, folks, is that in less than 2 weeks, 11 days, this AMM goes live, and it gives folks a reason to stay in XRP, to not sell their XRP to go to a stable coin or exit the XRP Ledger ecosystem. Instead of selling, they're going to stay in the XRP Ledger ecosystem by providing liquidity. What gets really interesting for me is speculating on whether or not Ripple and some of their partners are going to issue assets, issue stable coins. In fact, we've just highlighted how Axelar Network is going to connect us with 60 blockchains they're issuing. And so we don't even need Circle. we don't even need Circle to issue USDC on the XRP ledger. We already have USDC issued by GateHub and others, but we're going to see Axelar Network as well going to be issuing. Every ERC20 token can now be brought, and connected. We have the Corium bridge being built out. I dropped the video yesterday talking about the bridges more extensively if you guys want to check that one out. But just to update you guys, we have 11 days to go. Now's an opportunity to play with the testnet, to learn how to do it. Many people still don't even know that we have a DEX on the XRP ledger. But yes, we were the first decentralized exchange, and it's only going to get better with this AMM. The arbitrage trading opportunities present themselves. I don't think that you're going to need an incredible level of sophistication to actually participate in that, because that's what I plan on doing. And I understand the risks. I'm going to go play. And the reason why I'm ready to sacrifice some of my assets, and I use the word sacrifice because I don't care if there's issues. I don't care if, I have a little impermanent loss in the meantime. I want to be able to hedge against two different assets. XRP Casino Coin was the AMM that I already went into. I plan on going back into that one, and then I'm going to be going into others as well. And it's a way for me to hedge against two assets that I'm going to be holding. I'm going to be holding Casino Coin. I'm going to be holding XRP. Might as well put some of it to work and receive that yield in the meantime. Will I, experience or have impermanent loss when the coins go volatile and move? Yes. And the AMM will work itself out. It'll come back to balance, and I'm just going to leave my assets in there, put them to work. For many folks, that's the opportunity that's going to be accessible. I hesitate to say easy, but relatively easy and accessible. But then for those traders, arbitragers, the opportunity I think is going to be pretty massive, especially while this is young. But with that risk, with that power comes responsibility, and you have to understand the potential for losses as well. So, and in conclusion, I wanted to say that the AMM is not going to be a flip of the switch for price action where we start to see XRP go up in 11 days. We're going to get a pump. Not expecting that. We weren't expecting that when the AMM first went live. Not expecting that in 11 days. But this is the start. This is the start of that fundamental utility that keeps people in the ecosystem, that allows people to just hold this asset and receive a drip, receive a stimulus, receive a reward, or some sort of yield in a decentralized way. That's the beautiful thing about the AMM. So more content on that coming on the way. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm not going to be going live here today. This is Saturday, right? Not going to be doing my regular Saturday live. I've been having issues with my live streams on YouTube, on Twitter. I don't know what's going on. So probably not going to go live here today, but nonetheless, make sure you guys stay in tune. We got a lot of content coming your way, more on the AMM, and we're going to keep you guys updated with everything taking place in these markets. If you appreciate our updates, we really do appreciate all the support, whether you're smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing out the content far and wide, using our community resources at my website, ZachRector.com. We have them available to help you guys out in the effort that we're putting forward here. The goal is to bring the most amount of value to you guys during this historical transfer of wealth. Let's get you and your family on the right side of it. What do you say? Hope everybody has a blessed weekend. Take care out there. I'll see you in the next one. God bless. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.